Hey guys, well, a big time matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals coming up very fast. This is the Out of Breath Arm Sore Packer Minute, the show where I walk around the neighborhood talking about the Packers, and you watch to see if I get sandwiched by a bread truck. And yes, today is Wednesday. Injury report perhaps coming out. Coach McCarthy set to talk to the press later today. And this game against Cincinnati, a lot of people still fairly confident. I am one of them. I have seen it described as an easy game by some, however, and I do not expect that. Bengals have not stood pat on their horrible, I guess is the best way to describe it, beginning of the season, first 2 weeks. Andy Dalton looking bad, the defense just looking not good at all, losing to the Texans and doing it in fine fashion. They fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Zampese, and that shakeup, though, while it might be a long-term good, we have to wonder if that shakeup there are rumors in the Bengals organization that you may not have heard that move was made because there was about to be a mutiny in the Bengals locker room. And so if that is the case, and I do think regardless there's going to be some major shakeup, one of the things we saw, though, remember a few years back when the Lions did the same thing and removed the offensive coordinator and brought in Tennessee Jack, or whatever his name is, Jim Bob Cooter. And that did well for them, actually, and it was a good move. Now, I don't think that this is going to salvage the Bengals season necessarily, but one of the things that I'm concerned about is, remember last year maybe you were thinking the same thing as me at one point. Remember we went 4-6, everybody remembers that, but there was that sort of through line that if you were a team that was struggling, the best team you could play to get back on your feet was the Green Bay Packers at one point. It was like, let's get the Tennessee Titans, let's get their fans excited about what they can do. Let's get the Colts fans excited about what they can do. So the last thing I want to see is for the Packers to, and this is at home, we're playing at Lambeau, to give up a win to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think we need to take this team very seriously, regardless of what we've seen, regardless of how they've struggled in the past. These things can turn on a dime in the NFL. And I'm not concerned, so to speak, but boy, would it be a huge downer. I'm probably going to get hit by an acorn, by the way. They are falling like rain from the sky right now, which would be pretty awesome. It would be such a downer to go 1-2 and to have one of those losses be the Bengals. That's just not acceptable. I don't see it happening. But I do think, there's a couple things that are playing into this game. One is the shakeup in the Bengals organization. Is that a good thing? Sometimes that's a spark for the players to play better. And frankly, it's the players that play the game. So that's part of the reason I still don't think the Bengals have what it takes to beat us, because they're not playing well. But the coaching staff gets them prepared, puts them in certain situations to hopefully be successful for their team. And we'll see what effect that may have. The other thing that's playing into this game, guys, and I hate to go back to it again and again, I know we're all sick of seeing it, we're sick of hearing it, but the injury situation, for crying out loud. And this is a game, if there was a game, at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have liked this game to have maybe Jordy Nelson, maybe Mike Daniels as well, ride out to the following Thursday against the Bears. I wouldn't have liked that situation at all. I do think right now, the way it looks, I think we can survive this game. I think we can survive it if Trevor Davis and Jeff Janis and Geronimo Allison in particular have to get a lot of reps. I think we can still survive this game. On the defensive side, AJ Green, they got a couple nice running backs. Giovanni Bernard, and we all know Joe Mixon and his story. A couple of guys that can run the ball well, catch out of the backfield. Mixon looked fairly strong, fairly quick, but I just don't think, even without Mike Daniels, I think our D-line can handle that situation where we couldn't against an Atlanta Falcons team that can just do it all. So I think we're still successful there. But again, it all comes down to what the coaching staff wants to do. And I am definitely for, because I think we can survive the Bengals game, I'm for being conservative and setting your sights on, for Jordy Nelson, Mike Daniels, maybe even Randall Cobb, I don't know. But whoever's healthiest, maybe you need to go with. But then if Jordy Nelson isn't ready, just float him till next Thursday. You can't bring him on the field this week with him not 100% and expect him to be anything but less. I mean, he'll be worse off come Thursday. It's going to be such a quick turnaround. Let's preserve these guys. I know it's hard, but remember, a game against Atlanta, we got some really, really significant reps by some guys that don't get much playing time. Even though we lost that game, obviously, we would love to have Bakhtiari, Bulaga, Daniels, Nelson, Bryce, all these guys on the field. Although Bryce, as a matter of fact, I didn't think looked super great. I'm very happy that Josh Jones got his chance to get in there and ball out a little bit, as we expect him to be able to do down the line. And so speaking of that, we got Josh Jones. He's going to get some more reps. I think he can show something in this game. Comment if you agree. I think Kevin King and the coaching staff is talking about it. I've said from the beginning that if Kevin King were to develop faster than you would generally expect a kind of a press man corner to develop as a rookie, if he were to take a step, that this defense could really get a boost. And I know we didn't look good against Atlanta, but you look at some of the stat line, and really what Atlanta did is what Atlanta does. And we did it without Mike Daniels. We had some good pressure without Mike Daniels. So there were some positives that could come out of that loss, even though it was such an ugly loss. But one of those definitely is the play of Kevin King. We saw him, I think he was targeted 4 times, and no catches in those 4 targets. Well, gosh, you can't ask for much more than that week 2. I had week 2 pegged and circled, just like everyone else. In particular, to see, to ask the question, does Kevin King go in and start this game because he's got such better physicals? But on the other hand, Kevin King's a rookie. That's the last place you'd want him to start, is against the Atlanta Falcons. It's just a recipe for disaster. Well, the way it worked out, I think, was the best way we could hope for, even though it comes about because of bad things. I mean, we had Randall and Rollins just were not cutting it. King got in there, and King showed that he's ready to play. He's still going to have corrections to be made, but he can be a huge factor for this defense moving forward. He may, by the time all is said and done, between him and Devon House, I think we can control A.J. Green. I think we're going to get to Dalton, whether Daniels can play or not. So I think our defense does pretty good. I think the Cincinnati Bengals will have a difficult time bouncing back in terms of scoring. I don't think they've scored a touchdown yet this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get one on us. I hate to say it. I would love to see this defense pick up where Mike Daniels left off when he left the Seattle game, and they only had 3 field goals on the board. I think that should be our goal this week on defense. Now that said, I'll take a win no matter how we get it. But on offense now, okay, without Jordy, what if Randall Cobb can't go? We've been and then I think we've got, with Geronimo Allison, I think we need to use our tight ends. I think Kendricks needs to have a good game. I think Martellus Bennett needs to catch the ball. A lot of people hating on Martellus Bennett for all kinds of reasons. I'm not. Other than you've got to catch the ball. That's, he was targeted like 5 times. I think he dropped 4. He was targeted 5 or 6 times, half dozen times, whatever. But he dropped like 4 balls. That is way too many, and this is something Martellus Bennett immediately talked about. He knows what the story is, knows what you have to do. He's done it in the past, and I think he'll get it done. He was in position to make some significant plays, and he did make significant plays, in particular against Seattle. And frankly, we had the play called back on the quote-unquote pick. These are big, significant plays that he would have been remembered for in this game, because if we hadn't turned the ball over, we would have had a chance against the Falcons, regardless of the 25 people that were injured in this game. A little tongue-in-cheek there on the number, but we would have had a chance. And as a matter of fact, if you just take the points we gave up in turnovers off the board, we win this game, because we only lost by 11. I think we gave up 12. Just in returned, just in the interception before the half, and of course that considered backward pass. All right, we'll call it that. So at any rate, I think there's stuff to be positive about. I think this is a team that can handle the Cincinnati Bengals regardless of the injury situation, and if we can do so, that will again show the kind of grit that we've got. We're a team that's been through this before. The problem is it's really hard to continue to go through this. So, well, there are some thoughts for today on the Bengals. Let me know what you think our chances are. Let me know who you think is going to be the key to the game. To me, it's all about turnovers now. We haven't gotten them. As soon as Mike Daniels punched the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands, that's the only turnover we've seen. That's not going to be enough. I'm looking for the possibility of Kevin King to get his first NFL interception this coming Sunday. So let me know what you think, and I will get back and try to comment on that as well, respond to those, and we'll be back another day with the Out of Breath Armstar Packer Minute. We'll talk to you later, guys. Go Pack.
Packer Nation worldwide.